Let's see if we actually get a actual update on what the fuck is going on in the court.
And then it says at SMM_player.
So I still think that they're going through the history of what they're claiming Young Thug's gang affiliation is. And also, you know, obviously his lawyers is working to say, hey, listen, y'all story don't make sense. And, well, I thought y'all said he was this, but now what about this? So I think SMM is sex, money, murder probably, right?
Pound.
Let me go actually law and crime. Give me 1 second, people. Give me 1 second. The Fani Willis shit, like, actually, that's the thing that's been, like, taking over, like, all the coverage, at least, from the Atlanta circuit. Anyway, yeah, that trial ain't nothing going on in there, bro. Like, it's a bunch of bullshit. Anyway, remember we played some of this like 2 days ago?
Isn't it true that you met Mr. Wade in October?
This is more an abridged version of like just all the spicy moments.
Let alone live with me as you put falsely in these documents. In the first 3 months of 2021, when I could still enjoy my home, Mr. Wade never came to South Fulton, and it is certainly a lie that he lived with me.
Then it came time to question Willis about the vacations the two took together and who paid for the trips.
Talk about, you said that sometimes you paid Miss Yurdi cash. When you went on vacation with Mr. Wade, let's just go one by one. Let's start with the first one. What's the first time you went on vacation with Mr. Wade?
We did. That's what I'm telling you. I think that there's a possibility that we stayed that night in April of 22.
Who paid for the hotel?
I think I did. It was his birthday.
When did you start dating?
When I started dating Mr. Wade, It was right around then.
April 2020?
22, yes.
2022.
It was around then. I don't know, And I also don't remember, so that the record is clear, I don't remember if the necessity was as we got on the ship or we got...
Before you ever went on the trip?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so when you got cash to pay him back on these trips,
I've only given him cash a few times in the course of what we're talking about.
So if
we would go to dinner,
let her finish her answer.
If we would go to dinner, I wouldn't give him cash because he paid for dinner or I paid for dinner. I've given him cash only a few times in life, probably 4.
Okay.
Probably the most money I've ever handed him is $2,500. The least amount of money I've handed him, probably between $500 and $1,000.
Throughout her testimony, Willis maintained she was not the one on trial.
So your office objected to us getting Delta records for flights that you may have taken with Mr. Wade.
No, look. I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
Okay.
So,
by the way, her father actually testified, Fani Willis Father. Her father testified, which, they're kind of going pretty deep in. Pause. And I think her father was testifying to the point that she had cash laying around, and he kind of always told her to keep cash laying around.
When did you learn that your daughter had a romantic, personal relationship with Mr. Wade?
Well, about 7 weeks ago, when as a matter of fact, I just found out when other folks found out. Okay.
That is, your daughter, as I understand it, never told you one time in the year of 2022 that she was dating Mr. Wade, correct?
That's correct.
And until recently, you didn't know from anyone, including your daughter, that she dated Mr. Wade, correct?
That's correct.
That is, whatever the relationship is between father and daughter, she kept that a secret from you, correct?
Correct.
That's all I need to know.
Mr. Stockton.
No.
And most black folks, they hide cash or they keep cash. And I train, you always keep some cash, because I've been places, and just because of the color of my skin, for example, I took a fellowship at Harvard when my daughter was just, if I might, Your Honor, when I was just, she was just, maybe 3 years old. And I remember going to a restaurant in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I had a American Express credit card and maybe a Visa or whatever. And I had a lot of what they call traveler's checks. I don't even know if they still have traveler's checks, but traveler's checks. And there was a sign said, with the credit card. For whatever reasons, the man would not take my American Express credit card. So I pulled out my Visa card, and he wouldn't take my Visa card. So then I pulled out my traveler's checks. He said, we don't take checks. Now, these were traveler's checks. This was money. I had a $10 bill. I'll never forget this as long as I live. And he said, the bill for my wife at the time, Fani's mother, Fani, and myself was like $9.95, and I had a $10 bill. That was all that. And I always remember that.
Okay, so he's giving just like his testimony of that, hey, it's completely normal that my daughter has money, cash, around. I always taught her to have money around. As she said, obviously the father is not going to say something to the contrary, but it does help Fani Willis's case of saying, hey, it's kind of untraceable, but I did give and repay this guy for all the things he bought me, and the only two people who could say otherwise is me and him, and he not going to say different, and I'm not going to say different, so fuck do you have? And also, I'm not on trial, so it's kind of like, it's not really going anywhere, but I think it looks so crazy. Do I think she's going to be disqualified? I mean, they're probably going to get into some stuff about taxes. They still have to pursue these charges, and obviously there's also articles of impeachment against her. So I really don't I don't know if this whole thing against Trump is going to go forward, but Fani Willis is at least trying to make sure she doesn't lose her job, even though some people believe that some of these things could end up with her going to jail. Don't know about that, but we'll see. Hey, did y'all see that the XXX Tentacion? I haven't watched this yet. It's so hard for me to consume anything about X's death. It's triggering. It is emotional, and it's not something I can just like watch. I do know some of y'all wanted me to react to I think this is body cam footage